Hi, this is Nancy Kay. I live in Encinitas, California, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in September of 2005. It was HER2 positive, estrogen positive, and I'd like to share some of my adventures with you. I think with breast cancer, there's always the unexpected, and it starts with the diagnosis. I had my annual physical and mammogram the week before. The doctor said everything looked really great. And I was out of town on business teaching a class when I got a call from the doctor's office asking me to come in that day. That can't be good, can it? So I asked to speak to the doctor, and she came on the line and she said, "I hate to do this on the phone, but you have breast cancer." Oh, no. I chose to have a lumpectomy for my breast cancer. And it's kind of quirky, but when they get you ready for a lumpectomy, they have to insert these wires so that the surgeon can identify the sites. I had multiple sites that the surgeon wanted to remove. And these wires are about 3 inches long. They do them over in radiology. And so I had these 3-inch wires sticking out of me. To protect the wires until you get into surgery, they taped a Dixie cup on my breast. So I had this one very pointy Dixie cup breast, and I had to walk back through the waiting room. I looked like sort of a half a Madonna. And finally, though, I had gotten the D cup I always wanted. When you come out of the lumpectomy, I had already agreed that if they could not get clear margins, they would do a mastectomy. So, of course, my initial response was, do I still have a breast? And you reach up there and you're so bandaged, you have no way of knowing if you have a breast or not. So I had to wait until somebody could tell me that, yes, indeed, the lumpectomy was successful and I still had both my breasts. Depending on your type of breast cancer, you could have different drug therapies. Mine was HER2 positive and estrogen positive, so I had 26 weeks of adriamycin, Cytoxan, and Taxol, followed by a year of Herceptin and 6 years of an aromatase inhibitor, which is a pill. Up to that time, I thought when you were sick, you got a pill. But most chemotherapy is administered into your veins. I have a portacath. You can't see it, but it's right here under the skin. And that's where all blood is drawn and where all drugs are administered. It makes it so much easier. Don't even know it's there. And I've had it for a long time now. You might as well accept that there will be side effects from cancer treatment. I can tell you about the side effects from my breast cancer journey. They included everything from anemia, low white cells as well as red cells. I had neuropathy, so my hands and my feet were numb. I had congestive heart failure. I had osteoporosis from the aromatase inhibitors. You just learn to deal with each one and the effect of it that day on you. Your doctors will work so closely with you to keep you comfortable and to get you through that so that you can get back to treating your breast cancer. I was thinking about radiation. I had a radiation following chemotherapy, so I think I was tired from the chemo and went into radiation. And the setup is interesting. It was in a very spa-like room with soft lights and music, and they tattoo you. If I'd known they were going to tattoo me, I'd have taken something so they could make a flower or something instead of just having these pin dots everywhere. But after that, you're in radiation in a clinical white room for about 10 seconds every day. The setup time is longer than the actual doing. I burned, but not until the very last week. And what I thought was remarkable was once radiation stopped, I healed immediately, like within days. So I know some people experience some burning. It will take care of itself. There will be so many decisions that you'll have to make in your breast cancer journey. Take the time to get the facts before you make those decisions. For me, one of the biggest ones involved my job. I had chosen to work throughout my chemotherapy and into radiation. But there came a point where I was attending a meeting in San Francisco, and it took me 45 minutes to walk a block from the hotel to my office. I didn't realize it at the time that I had cardiomyopathy, the heart failure, but I did know I had neuropathy, and I was in such pain and was so unable to breathe, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I have to put whatever energy I've got into getting my health back. And so I told my boss that day that I would be taking time off of work. And the funny thing is that I've never looked back. It opened up so many vistas that weren't possible for me before when I was looking at getting back to the way things were. I don't think you can ever go backwards. You need to go forwards. And that was a great lesson for me. There are a lot of losses associated with breast cancer. Some of them, like losing all your hair, perhaps minor, may feel pretty traumatic. I know I did when I got down to 2 eyelashes on one eye and 3 eyelashes on the other. I felt that loss. But a more significant loss, I think, was when I went to a colleague's retirement party. I was very tired. I was sick. And although I was enjoying myself, there was a video of my colleague over her 30 years with the company. And somewhere in that video was a picture of me 10 years earlier. And I looked so strong and so vibrant. And I remember sitting there that night feeling erased. And I know people came up to me and talked about what an impact I had on their lives. And I really felt like they thought they were seeing me for the last time. And my assistant asked if she could drive me home. It was a terrible day, terrible. The loss of self, I think. I think clinical trials play a very important role in treating breast cancer. Where would we be without them? Although I did not participate in a specific trial, I did use Herceptin off-label. It had not been approved at that point for early breast cancer. And of course, I feel like it played such a role in keeping me healthy. But I would participate in any breast cancer trials that were available to me. There's some standard care for breast cancer, which may include chemotherapy, radiation, etc. But I was open to anything to feeling better, especially as I started racking up some side effects, some more serious than others. So, for example, I learned biofeedback. I learned how to do healing touch. Acupuncture was a big part of it. These were all prescribed by my doctor and managed through the integrative care center that they have for cancer patients. I also found a great deal of relief in warm water. So I would go to the Y and the warm water pools daily. My support group, I count as being just as important as all those other cares in giving me relief, giving me knowledge, helping me go through this journey. Another celebration in my breast cancer journey occurred at work. I had chosen to continue working through my chemotherapy, and I had a group of financial center managers in training, and I would meet with them monthly. They would make formal presentations to executive management. We would go over various leadership components, and the idea was to increase their overall effectiveness. 1 month after I had started chemotherapy, after they had made their formal presentations, each one of them then stood up and had different colored rubber bracelets that said strength or courage or faith, something like that. And each one of them talked about how that represented me and that was their hope for me. And then they gave me, my own bracelet. Not a dry eye in the house then or now.